Welcome to your 16th web scraping tutorial in Python, and in this tutorial we're going to be using a visualization tool called D3 in order to view our web scraper as it's going out and crawling pages. So right here I just have a simple D3 directed graph, and basically it uses physics and particle physics to determine the attraction between each of these, and it connects them all using an attraction between them as well. So all of these lines are attractions and all of the nodes are repulsion. And basically what we're going to use each node as is representing a page. So our root node would be here, and then as it scrapes out, as it moves out, it's going to basically spider out and show all our pages. And it's just a nice visualization to see what our web scraping algorithm is actually doing. So you can just Google D3. So just type in D3 JavaScript, and it's data-driven documents is what it stands for. So what we can do is go to examples, and the one that we're actually going to be using, all these are really nice visualizations. So if you ever have to use a visualization tool for Python, I would recommend using JavaScript and not using the built-in libraries like GTK or whatever those are, because they're just not as nice. And JavaScript is just better for visualizations too. So here is our sample of what we're going to be using. So here we can see when you hover over something, it shows you what the name of it is, what the name of each node is, and each of these are different sizes, but we're not going to be using different sizes. They're all going to be the same size, and you can move the root node wherever you want, but the gravity is to the middle. Whoops, something messed up. So yeah, so basically this will just show how our web scraper might go to another site, and then it finds these links on the site, and then this, and then it finds this link, and this link has more pages. So it's just a nice visualization of watching our algorithm grow. And it uses JavaScript and jQuery, and it actually lets you update the visualization as it's running. So I can change root to be capital bacon and then update, and we can see the root node has been changed to bacon. And there's actually another nicer visualization we can use that allows it, when you update the chart, it doesn't do that thing where it all goes crazy. Because when we're watching it, it's going to be going like this, adding more stuff, and then only when we want it to slow down, we can see everything. But I'm probably going to have it be manual update, so the algorithm's running, and whenever I want to see it again, I'll update it. And then in the next tutorials, I'll have it automatically update, so each time the algorithm does something on the back end, the front end code here will update to show our the changes. And I'll probably just have a timer callback in jQuery that makes a GET request to our server, and it pulls new data or something along those lines. So we actually have to download this code, and the best way to do that is go to the GitHub, so fork on GitHub, and we can actually download the zip file. So I will do that now, and I will show it in a folder, and then I will extract it, and this is what we get. So we get a nice little directory here, and so I'm in my VPS over here, and I'm going to just list everything in the directory, and I can see I want to go to ADB news, so cd ADB news, and so here's ADB news, and I have made a new directory called visual, cd visual, and there's nothing in the directory. So if I go to ADB news / visual, there is absolutely nothing in this directory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the contents of this file in FileZilla into my ADB news directory visual folder on my VPS. So here I go, I'm dragging it in, and I will list the contents of the directory, and so we can see it's adding stuff, and when I refresh this, it shows that page. But you might be asking, why don't we just run this locally? And the reason is because if I were to just say, right click this and say open with Chrome, you see that the visualization doesn't show up. And the reason it doesn't show up and it shows null is because we're making a request to a JSON file. So there's this JSON file here, data.json, and that file actually has all of the information we need to run this visualization. So why don't I just open up data.json and see what it contains. And I would open it in the VI or Emacs or one of the Linux ones, but I hate Linux text editors, so I'm going to use Sublime once again. So here we have Sublime, and we can see all of the information that we are using. So here the name is root. I'm going to change it to bacon. Save the file, and then as we can see our name is root, and then when I refresh this page, it changes. Oh, I actually have to. FileZilla asked me if I really wanted to update the file, and I said yes. And if you know a way to make it so that FileZilla doesn't ask you whether you really want to update the file or not, let me know, because I know in WinSCP it doesn't ask me. I have it set so it automatically updates whenever I save the file. So now when I refresh, it should be called bacon, and that is exactly what we want. So here I have my directory, and I'm just going to make a file in there called scrape.py. So I'm going to make a new file, and I'm going to call it scrape.py. Okay, I'm going to open that file, and I'm going to paste in all of the code that I had from the previous tutorial. So here I'll just paste it in. Oh wow, it's already in there. It's magic. So I'll say list, and now we have scrape.py, which is in our VPS. So I'll say Python scrape.py. Why didn't that run? Should have run. Let me try just a simpler program. I'll just say Control X, Control N, Control V, import for out lib print hello world. Yes, files though I want to update it, and then I will say scrape print Python scrape.py, and it prints hello world. So I think the reason why it's not running is because from BS4 import beautiful soup, it's actually I've installed beautiful soup correctly on Linux because it's easier. So let me actually try this again. Yes, files though I want to update. You try it again. No module named mechanize. So let's see if we can fix that. CD I'll CD into my downloads folder. I'll list the contents. I actually have to download mechanize, so I'll go to Google, type in mechanize, Python, install, or maybe just mechanize. I'll search for download. Here we have a tarball, so I'll copy link address, and then I'll say wget, right click to put all that in there, or whatever your setting is for PuTTY. Oh look, it downloaded, great. So now when I list the contents, I have mechanize as a tarball. So the way to extract the tarball is you say tar minus xvf and then the name of the tarball. Okay, so it all extracted well. And then I will cd into the mechanize directory, cd mechanize, and then there's the setup.py. We actually want to say Python setup.py install. And it should be installing. And I think it maybe got an error. It said permission denied. I can't install it to this directory. And if you were on just a virtual machine, like I have my Ubuntu virtual machine in my Mac, if I was on just a virtual machine, I would type that in, but because this is a VPS, I have to install it just for myself. So I have to say ---- user, and that will install Python mechanize just for me. And that's how you install Python modules for your user account on a VPS. And this is just, I mean, this is like a mini tutorial of how to install Python modules, so I just killed 2 birds with 1 stone with this tutorial. So it looks like it installed everything correctly, hopefully. I actually haven't tested this tutorial before I did it, so I'll cd up again. And I'll go back to my ADB news. I will cd into Visual, and then Python scrape.py, run it, and it should have run exactly the same as it had run before when we were using Python on when we're running Python on our Windows machine. So it's giving us the problem where it's going out to a URL. Oh, this is for New York Times. So I'll just do it for Spark Browser again because that one worked well. Sparkbrowser.com. Yeah, so I'll save this, and then I'll tell FileZilla that I do want to update. Run it again. Excellent. So these are all the links that I found for Spark Browser, and I'm actually going to show you how wget works. So I'll say cd // cd up a directory, and then I'm going to make a new directory in ADB news, and I'm going to call it wgotten, mk dir wgotten, and now we have wgotten cd wgotten, and then wget minus m, and I'm going to say http adbnews.com/area51, and we'll see if wget's algorithm is as good as ours. And minus m, wget minus m, basically means mirror. So wget minus m http adbnews.com/area51 / and then we'll list the files, and we can see adbnews.com made a new folder, and I'll list the contents of it, cd and it got index.html. So it didn't actually spider out too well as I thought it would. Actually, 51.index.html. It's /index.html. And I'll see if that does a better job. cd I will remove area 51. Okay, so I've removed that, and then I will say do my wget command again, /index.html, and we'll see how well it spiders. And it only got one file. So let me try it for Spark Browser, wget minus m sparkbrowser.com. And it looks like it's downloading everything. So now I can go to wgotten and then sparkbrowser.com in the browser, and we'll see what it gives us. So adbnews.com/wgotten/sparkbrowser.com, and and it looks like, wow, it has downloaded that entire website. So that is basically how you download a website in wget. So this has been your 16th web scraping tutorial, and in this tutorial we basically created this visual folder. So I'll cd into visual and list the contents, and we created a scrape.py, which is our algorithm from before for web scraping, and we also have our the information that we downloaded from the D3 JavaScript library, and we got the code flower example. We downloaded that example from GitHub. We downloaded the code flower master, and what that allows us to do is it allows us to use this this visualization here. And the reason we can't do it locally is because of the JSON, the same origin policy. We can't request that JSON file without having a web server runner. I guess if you were feeling like a hero, you could download WAMP or XAMPP or one of those local web servers, or you could write your own in some language, Python or JSON, Node.js or something. But here we have our visualization, and in the future tutorials we're going to be editing this data.json file with our Python script, and then every time we refresh our visualization it will show what our scraper has done so far. And then in much later tutorials we're going to be using the live updating ability of jQuery callbacks. So we're going to have a callback function in JavaScript, and that's going to basically update this in a RESTful way, so we don't actually have to refresh the entire page every time. But yeah, so this has been your 16th web scraping tutorial, and if you don't have a VPS, you can buy one for $15 a month from DreamHost, and that's what I have here. Or you can download a Ubuntu. You can download Ubuntu and you can use that, or you can download a web server like XAMPP and run it locally. So here I have Ubuntu, and I can just do anything I can do. So I'll say so here's my Ubuntu, and I have the command line here. I can type in terminal. So here's terminal. I can say all the same stuff I'm doing on my server, just in a virtual machine. So a virtual machine is free, so there's no reason you shouldn't be able to do this. Yeah, so this has been your 16th web scraping tutorial in Python. Thank you.